Good morning, church, and welcome to the musing for the 15th of June. I'm Pastor Dave, and we're glad you're here. In the 5th chapter of the book of 2 Kings, we read of an incident in the life of the prophet Elisha, which involved a man named Naaman. Now, Naaman is the general of the armies of the kingdom of Aram. Naaman is very good at his job, and he has become a person of influence and fame. He has status, authority, and the favor of his king, just about everything a man could want. He also has something he definitely does not want. Naaman has leprosy. And in the days before sulfa drugs and antibiotics, leprosy was an extremely serious disease. It was also incurable. Well, incurable by normal medical means anyway. But Naaman had a servant who knew of a prophet in Israel, a man named Elisha. Elisha spoke for God, and God had used him to do a number of extraordinary things. Naaman's servant said that Elisha could cure Naaman's leprosy. So off Naaman went to seek out Elisha, who lived in a palatial estate outside Jerusalem. Just kidding. Elisha lived in a cave down by the river. Ironically, being a prophet was not very profitable. Anyway, Naaman shows up at the cave with his military escort, ready to meet with God's spokesman, but Elisha doesn't even come out of the cave. He just sends out a messenger to tell Naaman to wash himself in the river 7 times and be cured. Well, Naaman's all upset. He says that he expected a rather different sort of reception for a man of his standing. He thought there would be a face-to-face meeting and that Elisha would loudly call on God and maybe do some mystical hand motions or something. But all Naaman got was a message through Elisha's servant: go wash yourself in the Jordan River 7 times. Offended, and with a little bit of wounded pride, Naaman decides to leave. But then one of his servants makes an obvious observation. He points out to Naaman that had Elisha sent him on some perilous quest, climb a high mountain or slay a dragon or whatever, that Naaman would have gladly taken it on. So it really didn't make much sense to complain that the cure came too easily. So Naaman begins the process that Elisha had laid out. He washes himself in the river once, twice, 3 times. No change. Not even a little bit of improvement. Naaman must have wondered if he were being made fun of, but he kept at it. 4 times. 5 times, 6. Still nothing. Then he tries one more time and comes up out of the water cured of his disease, his skin all unmarked and healthy. How often do we turn away from God's blessings simply because they don't arrive in the manner we had expected? How often do we miss what God would give us because we expected something else, or because the packaging was wrong, or the message was too humbling? Friends, God works in his own way, through his own tools, at his own speed, according to his own schedule, to achieve his own purposes. Those who are wise accept that, and they follow his instructions, whether they understand them or not. They persist in this even if they don't see any change. God could have cured Naaman instantly, but he didn't. God put Naaman's cure at the end of 7 steps of obedience. Why? Only God knows. Perhaps Naaman was being taught humility or perseverance, or simply to not prejudge God and God's ways. Whatever the reason, you can be sure of one thing. It was for Naaman's benefit. Because that's how God does things. Everything is for the good of those who seek him. All God's commands, all his rules, all God's restrictions, everything God ever asks us to do, it's all for our good. God is presently at work curing you. Not of leprosy, but perhaps of selfishness, anger, envy, pride. All the things that are part of us, but are not part of him. And we will not always know the why and the when and the how, but his work goes on, his way. So trust him. Let yourself be guided by him. Rejoice in the fact that he loves you enough to fix you. And if it takes 7, do the whole 7. Because sometimes that's where the miracle is. God bless you all.